Okay, hello peoples and power fans. Welcome to Juke Vision. Thank you for watching. Raising Kanan Season 2 Episode 3 just dropped. Another amazing episode. I'm going to give a quick recap of this episode, just a summary, but I will follow shortly with another video about my comments and thoughts on this episode. So stay tuned for that as well. Let's get to it. Episode 3 in Season 2 starts off in a bodega where the fame stashes their money. Someone comes in to buy a Tahitian treat, fruit punch from Juliana. When we cut back, we see a gun, and then we see that the person holding the gun is Unique. So Neek robs the fam's money from the bodega. Juliana looks terrified. Next, we see Kanan coming out of his house and Detective Malcolm Howard waiting for him outside. Detective Howard tells Kanan to get in his car so he can talk to him for a hot sec. When Kanan gets in, Howard proceeds to drop the bomb on him. Yup, he tells Kanan that he's his father. Kanan laughs when he first hears it, but as Howard keeps talking, Kanan realizes that Howard's not joking, and that at the least, Howard really thinks this is true. Kanan then leaves to go catch up with Famous. We then go to New Jersey. Rock, Marvin, and a new person we haven't seen before named Damon are talking inside of an apartment. We find out that this is the new territory referred to in the description of episode 3. Apparently, Raquel gave the fam some info about the previous dope supplier in the area being rolled up by the feds and the area being wide open. Rock plans to jump into the vacuum, and Damon has been picked to run the new location. Marvin doesn't like the idea of expanding to New Jersey because he doesn't like New Jersey, but also because he thinks the expansion is coming too quickly. Rock already has her mind made up though. The fam now has 3 territories with Baisley, the 40s, and this spot in New Jersey. We soon see why Lulu wasn't in New Jersey at this meeting. He's back at the studio, and Juke is in the booth. Juke really is an amazing singer. Lulu and Crown tell her as much, but then Crown leaves, pointing out that her look is not marketable. Juke likes the ladies and has a more masculine tomboy look. Although Lulu doesn't want to hurt Juke's feelings, he can't help but agree with Crown. But Lulu doesn't like the way Crown expressed these thoughts to her either. After Juke gets offended and leaves, Lulu and Crown have a convo where we see the two aren't getting along that well. After this, we're back in Marvin's anger management class. Marvin again looks very bored as other people talk about their problems. Renee, the therapist leading the class, pushes Marvin to talk again. Marvin at first refuses, but after Renee threatens him with talking to a judge again, Marvin basically just says, when people try him, he has no problem beating them down. Renee says that is called being openly aggressive. Marvin chuckles and says, well, that's what he is. Then Renee suggests a breathing technique that can help him calm in those situations. Next, Kanan finally catches up with Famous, still looking for a new living space. Famous drops the news on him that Scrap is dead and that Scrap apparently killed himself. The news kind of hits Kanan, who doesn't believe Scrap is dead at first, then wonders aloud why no one had told him yet. After Famous complains a bit more about his living situation and talks about how he can't afford the apartment he was just looking at, Kanan tells him he has an idea involving his mixtapes where they can make more money. Rock finally gets to the bodega and finds it locked and empty inside. She calls Juliana from her cell but doesn't get an answer. Next, Rock pulls out her key and a gun and steps in the bodega, where she quickly finds that their money has been stolen. Rock pages Lulu, first telling him to call her, but Lulu is at the studio. Looks like he's making beats now. He sees the page, but doesn't call back. Back at Marvin's anger management class, as the class lets out, Renee is telling him that she's going to keep on trying to get him to talk. And when Marvin starts flirting, Renee seems to be open to it. Next, Kanan goes to the Carter, or really the fam's Baisley Project's crack den. He acts like he's looking for his mom or his uncle, swipes a pack of crack vials, and dips back out. After going to look for Juliana at her house and coming up empty again, Rock catches up with Marvin and lets him know that all their money has been stolen. Marvin points out that they have a huge re-up for all 3 of their spots coming in a couple days and that they need to have that money. While breaking down the situation to Marvin, Rock realizes that Unique has to be the one who did it. Detective Burke is meeting with her dad, and the two of them start talking about her partner, Detective Howard. Her father basically tells her that she needs to be able to trust her partner, period. We see Kanan and Famous at the dumpster taking the tapes out of the mixtape cassette covers. Then we see them on the block putting a new plan into action. They've put the crack vials inside the mixtape covers and are selling them to heads on the corner. To top it off, since the police have already messed with them and seen the legit mixtapes, 12 now assumes that Famous and Kanan are still just selling the tapes and don't even suspect that they're actually slanging dope now. The two seem to be moving some units too. Rock finally goes to the studio to get Lulu since he still hasn't hit her back. Lulu is there with Crown and Cartier Fareed working on a new track with Zisa. Zisa likes the track, but Cartier thinks she needs something bigger. When Rock walks in, Cartier tries to do some flirting before Rock takes Lulu in the back. She lets Lulu know that all their money has been taken and that she thinks Neek did it. Then she tells him she needs him to put the music down and work until they can get this situation under control. There's a guy living in the Baisley projects named Demo who's in a wheelchair and has trouble with all the drug traffic in and out of the building. He confronts Marvin, getting all in his face about it aggressively. Marvin is ready to pop off, then remembers Renee's suggestion about the breathing techniques. He tries it and is able to keep his calm and also calm down Demo. This scene is too funny. Next we drop in on Detective Howard. He has a pro over. He seems to be a regular because he knows her pretty well. When she leaves, Detective Burke, who was staking out Howard's place, follows her. Rock meets up with Worrell. Worrell tells her that he hasn't been able to find Unique. Rock basically threatens Worrell and tells him that he better find Unique fast. Back at the house, Kane is telling Juke about his meeting with Detective Howard earlier. Juke doesn't buy that Howard is his dad, then leaves when Rock comes in. Kanan then tells Rock that Howard just told him that he was his father. Rock laughs it off and sticks to her story that Howard has gone crazy and doesn't know what's real from what's not. She tells Kanan to ignore Howard and just let her know what Howard says to him in case she does have to step into it. Kanan then brings up Scrappy. Rock again lies and sticks to the story that Scrap killed himself, even though she's actually the one who killed him. We catch up with Detective Burke having coffee with an old flame, another detective named Adina. Burke's still talking about Howard and finally makes it plain that she doesn't believe that he doesn't remember what happened the night he was shot. In the next scene, Lulu and Marvin are in the car talking about the missing stash when Marvin notices that Lou is playing Juke's song on the stereo. He's impressed, and as he asks if Juke ever asked about him, we see how bothered he is about what's happened between them. Lou says that she hasn't asked about him and acknowledges that he messed up. It looks like Lou wants to try to make him feel better about it, but Marvin hops out the car and bounces. Camacho rolls up to Rock's home as Kanan and Famous are outside talking. Famous is saying he still doesn't have enough to get a place. Crown overhears and offers to talk to one of his connects about helping Famous get a spot. Famous is too happy to hear it. When Rock answers the door, Crown tells her they both have a problem with Lulu being at the studio so much and offers to give her a percentage of the label and let her clean her money in exchange for getting Lou out of there. When Rock gets a call about Unique, she says she has to go right away, but says she won't tell Lulu about their conversation. We make a quick cut to Juke, who is following her mom, Kenya. Juke follows Kenya into a church and watches her lead a choir rehearsal until Kenya sees her and appears to recognize her. As Kenya runs over to her, Juke goes out the door and runs away. Worrell lets the fam know that Neek got in touch with him and wants to meet at his old tailor shop. Rock, Lulu, and Marvin take Worrell up into the shop at gunpoint, clearly not trusting him. They come up on Neek holding a gun to Juliana's head. There's a brief conversation as Neek lets Rock know that she got him good, framing him for Howard's shooting, and that she won. He lets her know that the point of the robbery was just to remind her that he can still make her life hard, but says he just wants peace and to be left alone. If she promises him that, Neek says he'll give her the money back. Rock agrees. As Kanan gets off the bus, he runs into Detective Howard again. Howard makes him an even more compelling argument. He lets Kanan know that he's not crazy, and Kanan's worst fears come true when Howard then drops on him that he knows Kanan shot him. Then Howard tells Kanan that the reason why he hasn't said anything is because he doesn't want to do that to his son. With that, he takes off and leaves Kanan standing there with his mouth open. And that's it for the Raising Kanan Season 2 Episode 3 recap. I will be dropping another video soon, giving some of my thoughts and commentary on this episode, so please look out for that as well and check it out when it drops. As always, Thank you so much for watching. If you like the content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button before you leave. And I'll see you on the next one. Jube Vision, we out.